My name is Clara. I live in a quiet, unassuming town called Willow Creek. I'm 28 years old. My husband, Liam, is 30. We have a beautiful baby girl named Lily who is just 1 year old. She has wisps of soft, golden hair and eyes as wide and curious as a clear summer sky. Her laughter is the purest sound I know, like sunshine turned into music. When Liam and I got married 5 years ago, our pockets were light, but our hearts were full. We started our life together in a small rented room in someone else's house. It was just big enough for a bed, a mini fridge that hummed a constant tune, and a small table where we shared our meals and our dreams. It wasn't our own, but we had each other, and for a long time, that was more than enough. Night after night, we would talk about the future. We dreamed of buying a home, a place with walls that would echo with our own laughter, a kitchen for shared cooking adventures, and a yard for a family to grow. But the houses in Willow Creek were a dream we couldn't afford, so we hatched a practical plan. "Let's save every penny," Liam said. "We'll buy a small starter home first. Later, when we're more stable, we can sell it and find our forever home." Liam's mother, Alina, did not share our enthusiasm for this careful approach. "Why wait? Why settle?" she would ask, waving a dismissive hand. "Buy the house you truly want now. Don't waste your youth on small things." We tried to explain our financial reality, that a small house was the only step we could responsibly take, but she wouldn't hear it. "I will help," she declared, her voice full of conviction. "You should allow yourselves to dream bigger." 2 years ago, our world shifted. I discovered I was pregnant. I held the secret close to my heart all day, waiting until after dinner to tell Liam. His face broke into the widest smile I had ever seen, and he pulled me into a hug that felt like it could mend anything. "We're going to be parents," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. We were overjoyed, spending the evening laughing and imagining our life with a baby. By then, we had saved just enough for a down payment on a small house. We were ready. But when we shared the news with Alina, she unveiled a new, grander plan. "Don't buy that little house," she insisted. "Buy a bigger one. I will give you a significant amount. You can ask your parents, too. With all our help, your monthly payment will be manageable. It won't be a struggle." Liam and I exchanged uncertain glances. It felt too fast, too big. Sensing our hesitation, Alina played her final card. She smiled warmly and said, "Don't you worry. When the baby arrives, I'll be there. I will take care of her every day so you can go back to work without a single care. I promise." It sounded like a perfect solution, a dream handed to us. I was filled with a profound sense of gratitude. "Thank you so much," I told her, my voice trembling. "We couldn't do this without you." So we bought the bigger house. It was lovely, with 3 bedrooms, a small garden shaded by 2 mature oak trees, and a bright, warm kitchen with large windows that bathed the room in morning light. The nursery was painted a soft, calming shade of light green. Liam painstakingly placed glowing stars on the ceiling. He worked tirelessly every day, driven by the desire to create a perfect world for our coming child. Then, one morning when I was 7 months pregnant, a sharp pain gripped my belly. We rushed to the hospital, and that night our daughter Lily was born. She was tiny but perfect, a miracle in a small package. Tears streamed down my face as I held her for the first time, her skin impossibly soft against mine. I kissed her tiny forehead and whispered the 3 words that would define my life from then on. I love you. I stayed home with Lily for the first 3 months, a whirlwind of feeding, changing, and gentle lullabies. Sleep was a luxury I couldn't afford, but my heart had never been so full. True to her word, Elena came to help. She arrived every morning at 8 o'clock sharp. I would kiss Lily goodbye, my heart aching a little, and head off to work. Liam did the same. We would return in the evenings, exhausted but eager to see our baby. Elena would give us daily reports. Lily slept well today, or she was a bit fussy, but a walk around the block calmed her right down. Every day I thanked her, feeling an immense debt of gratitude. We are so lucky to have her, Liam would say, and I agreed. We made the large mortgage payment each month. It was a stretch, but with both of us working and Elena's help, our perfect plan seemed to be working. But one Monday morning, the foundation of that perfect plan crumbled. I had just packed my lunch and was shrugging on my coat when Elena, who had just arrived, sat down heavily on the sofa. She looked at me with an unreadable expression and said, "Clara, we need to talk." I sat down, a knot of unease forming in my stomach. "Yes." Her face was serious. "I can't take care of Lily anymore. I'm too tired." The words didn't make sense. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "I mean I want to rest now," she said, her tone firm. "I want to live my own life. I've done my part. I've helped enough. I can't be here every single day." My heart felt like it had dropped to the floor. "But you promised," I stammered. "And I did help," she retorted. "But I'm done now. I want to go out, see my friends, enjoy my retirement." I felt the sting of tears. "But Lily is only 1 year old. She's too young for daycare." "I'm sorry, Clara, but I can't do this anymore," she said, standing up as if the conversation was over. That evening, silence was an unwelcome guest at our dinner table. The space between Liam and me felt vast, filled with unspoken fears and the heavy weight of a broken promise. Finally, he spoke, his voice hollow. "What are we going to do now?" "I don't know," I whispered back. The next day, I called my boss and quit my job. I stayed home with Lily. She was thrilled to have her mommy with her all day, but I was miserable. I adored my daughter with every fiber of my being, but I felt trapped. I missed the adult conversations, the challenges of my work, the person I was outside of being a mother. Liam started working longer hours to make up for my lost income. He left at dawn and returned after dark. Our lives became a monotonous cycle of work, childcare, and exhaustion. We barely talked. We were 2 ships passing in the night, each too tired to do more than navigate the immediate crisis. One afternoon, I swallowed my pride and called Elena. "Could you maybe help just 1 or 2 days a week?" I pleaded. "No, I'm busy," she replied briskly. "I've joined a painting class. I go to the park with my walking group. I'm finally enjoying my life." I said nothing, but a cold wave of hurt washed over me. Why make such a life-altering promise only to break it so casually? Why lead us down a path we couldn't walk alone? I called my friend, Sarah, who had a baby boy of her own. I poured out the whole story, the tears finally coming. She listened patiently. "Oh, Clara," she said softly, "it's not easy, but you are so strong. You will find a way through this." Her simple words were a lifeline. Have you tried talking to Liam's other relatives? Maybe they could help. I thought about it. It was a long shot, but it was the only shot we had. Before I continue my story, I want to take a moment and ask where you're listening from. Knowing that someone out there is hearing my story, perhaps even understanding it, gives me a strength I can't quite explain. Please, let me know in the comments. It would mean the world to me. That weekend, Liam and I drove to his parents' house, about 30 minutes away. They were kind, gentle people who lived in a small, cozy home. We brought sandwiches and an apple pie. Lily clapped her hands with delight upon seeing her grandparents, who showered her with smiles and kisses. After lunch, with my heart pounding, I spoke. "Mom, Dad," I began, using the names they'd insisted I use. "We're in a bit of a difficult situation." They listened intently as I explained how Alina had stopped helping and I had to quit my job. "It's hard. Liam is working all the time and I'm home alone with Lily. We're just so tired. We don't know what to do." Liam's mother reached out and took my hand. "We love Lily so much. What kind of help do you need?" "Even just 1 or 2 days a week would be a miracle," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "Just a few hours so I can catch my breath, or maybe find a small job I can do from home." They exchanged a look. Then his father said, "We're getting older and we get tired easily, but we can come on the weekends. We can definitely take care of Lily for a few hours on a Saturday or Sunday." A wave of relief washed over me. I smiled, a real smile for the first time in weeks. "Thank you. That would help more than you know." Liam smiled too, the tension in his shoulders easing just a little. A small offer of help felt like the grandest of gifts. The next few weeks were still a grind. I was with Lily day in and day out. I loved watching her discover the world, her joyful shrieks when I made a funny face, the way she would tug on my hair. But the exhaustion was a constant companion. Liam's long hours meant we had very little time as a couple. Most nights were spent in a tired silence. One morning, an idea sparked. Maybe I could work from home. Just a few hours, something flexible. During Lily's afternoon nap, I opened my laptop and searched for remote part-time jobs. After days of searching, I found a small company looking for writers to create short stories for children's apps. I applied, not expecting much. They said yes. I was ecstatic. I wrote whenever Lily was asleep, stealing moments in the early morning or late at night. The pay was modest, but it was mine. It made me feel like Clara again, not just Mommy. When I told Liam, he kissed my forehead. "I'm so proud of you," he said. His parents came on the weekends as promised. They would play with Lily while I took a 20-minute nap, which felt as restorative as a full night's sleep. But I still thought about Alina every day. One afternoon, my phone rang. It was her. "Hello, Clara," she said cheerfully. "How are you?" I wanted to scream, "I'm exhausted and I need you." Instead, I said, "I'm fine." "I went to the park today," she chattered on. "I met some lovely new people. I've joined a book club. It's so nice." I listened in silence, my hand gripping the phone. You have time for book clubs, but not for your own granddaughter. The thought was bitter. After we hung up, I cried quietly. Lily crawled over and patted my knee with her small hand. I picked her up and held her close. "You're my little sunshine," I whispered. Later that night, Liam said, "I'm going to start looking for a better job. one with a higher salary. "Do you think you can find one?" I asked, worried about him taking on even more stress. "I have to try," he said. "Even if I have to work longer, at least we won't have this financial pressure hanging over us." So we made a new plan. He would search for a new job. I would care for Lily and continue my part-time writing. His parents would help on weekends. It wasn't perfect, but it was a plan, and it was ours. Days turned into weeks. Lily learned to pull herself up to a standing position. She clapped her hands to cartoons. And then, one afternoon, she pointed at me and said, "Mama." I wept with joy. It was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. Liam found a better job. The pay was significantly more, but the hours were longer. I missed him terribly, but I understood why he was doing it. I worked late into the night, cleaned and cooked during the day, and poured all my remaining energy into playing with Lily. My body ached and my eyes were heavy, but I kept going. One sunny afternoon, the doorbell rang. It was Alina. She was wearing a new dress, her hair styled differently. "Hi, dear," she said with a hesitant smile. I was stunned. "Hi, Mom, come in." She looked at Lily, who was toddling around the living room. "She's growing so fast," she murmured. "Yes, she's walking now," I said. "She looks happy," Alina added, almost to herself. I made tea and we sat at the kitchen table. My mother-in-law looked at me, her usual confidence gone. "Clara, I know you were upset with me. I know I made things very hard for you." I remained silent, waiting. "I didn't think it would be like this," she continued, her voice soft. "I wanted to help, but I also panicked at the thought of losing my freedom. I didn't realize how alone you would be." I looked down at my hands. "I understand, Mom, but it hurt. We built our whole life around your promise." "I know," she said, her eyes filling with tears. "I made a terrible mistake. I am so sorry." I felt my own tears welling up. "It was really hard," was all I could manage to say. "I can't come every day," she said, "but maybe I could help 1 or 2 days a week. You could rest or work, whatever you need." A warmth spread through my chest, melting some of the ice that had formed there. "That would help so much." She reached out and took my hand. "I love you, Clara, and I love Lily." I managed a small smile. "I love you too, Mom." At that moment, Lily looked up from her toys and let out a happy giggle. We both turned to look at her, and for the first time in a long time, we laughed together. Maybe things weren't perfect, but they were starting to heal. After that day, Alina started coming twice a week, on Tuesdays and Fridays. She would play with Lily, feed her lunch, and sing her the same songs she once sang to Liam. My daughter adored her grandma. Those 2 days became my sanctuary. I wrote more, took naps, and sometimes just sat in the garden with a cup of tea, feeling the sun on my face. For the first time in months, I felt a sliver of freedom. One afternoon, my mother-in-law and I were chatting in the kitchen. "You're doing a wonderful job, Clara," she said quietly. "I didn't understand before how hard it is to care for a baby." "It's the hardest and best thing I've ever done," I admitted. She nodded. "I see now how much you needed me. I'm just glad you've let me be here now." Things were still not simple. We saw Liam even less with his new job. He'd come home long after Lily was in bed, his eyes shadowed with fatigue. But he always found a way to connect. He started leaving me little notes by the coffee machine. "You're doing great." I would leave one for him on the bathroom mirror. "I'm proud of you." Those small words held our marriage together. Emma grew and blossomed. Dada, milk, and ball joined her vocabulary. Each new word felt like a victory for our whole family. One Sunday, all of us went to the park together. Me, Liam, Lily, and Alina. Lily ran on the grass, her laughter echoing in the open air. Liam took photos, capturing the moment. Alina helped Lily pick tiny wildflowers. I sat on a bench and watched them, my heart swelling. My family. Not perfect, not easy, but real and full of a resilient kind of love. Later that evening, after Lily was asleep, Liam took my hand. "We've come a long way," he said. "We were so lost for a while," I agreed. He looked at me intently. "Do you still feel angry at my mom?" I thought for a moment. Sometimes a little, but then I see her with Lily and I see her trying. She came back. That has to mean something. He squeezed my hand. "You are so strong, Clara. You never gave up." "We never gave up," I corrected him gently. "We did this together." I realized I had learned so much. Life rarely follows a plan. People make mistakes. Promises can be broken, but new paths can always be forged. I had been hurt and lost, but in that struggle, I found a strength within myself I never knew existed. Some days are still hard. Sometimes Lily has a bad night. Sometimes I mourn the career I left behind. But then my daughter will run to me, wrap her little arms around my legs, and look up at me with absolute love, and I know I can face anything. Now my mornings start with music and Lily dancing while I make breakfast. I write my stories in the afternoon. Alina helps twice a week, and Liam's parents take Lily to the park on Saturdays. Liam works hard, but he always comes home with a little something for Lily, a new book, a colorful toy, a single flower from a neighbor's garden. "She is our light," he often says. One evening, Alina stayed for dinner. Afterwards, she sat on the floor with Lily reading a picture book. Liam came up behind me and whispered, "You look happy tonight." I turned to him and smiled. "I am. I think we're finally doing okay." "We're learning," he said. "Yes," I replied, "and we are not alone anymore." Before I fell asleep that night, I stood by Lily's crib, watching the gentle rise and fall of her chest. I leaned down, kissed her warm forehead, and whispered, "You are my joy." I went to my own bed and closed my eyes, a sense of quiet peace settling over me. We were not a perfect family living a perfect life. We were a real family, scarred and stitched back together, stronger in the broken places. And that was more than enough. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming your way soon.